I'm soaring, friends. I am Vitaly Portnikov. The president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, is in Russia, that it is preparing for a new attack on one European Ukraine. Nobody knows Nika today. And the plans are explained by Pastina, the appearance of drones in European countries. The theme of the exhibition will see Russian words on Tilka and Russian words. I am aware that at the rising meeting of the Rada of the Russian Federation, President Putin will plunge into the European Ukrainians with a so-called visco-technical approach, and at times they will continue their policy to Ukraine about our opera of Russian aggression. Visco-technical approaches, a slave term from Putin's dictionary. The process? Putin will attack Ukraine on a pallet. And today, the head of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sergey Lavrov, is not to blame for Mechan's militarization and renazification, and by jealousy in the body with the participating German order and with the political plans of Adolf Hitler. Not important, Sergey Lavrov, and about in Britain, and the whole Ukraine chairs, you are now navigate the gates of the problem for Russia. And the rhetoric of Sergey Lavrov is similar not to the protrusions of the Rudinsky minister of Zakordny certificates Andrei Gromyko, but to the promovs of the Stalinist People's Commissar of Zakordny certificates Vyacheslav Molotov, on the front of another light fault. A faithful associate of the communist leader, I will blame the occupation on the European Ukrainians. Also for Finland, the Baltic Ukrainians, and the friend and the light of guilt recognized before the actual occupation of the Ukrainians of Central Europe by the Stalinist Radin Union. So I will not fail to tell Sergey Lavrov that the Russians say that Kola is on them, that is, on pasta, that is, it is militarizing, that is, it creates problems for them, meaning and praising the plans of an overbearing attack on Ukraine. And with this rank, you justify your willingness to fight. Russians adore guilt for torture. I haven't given up for a long time. We have dug absolutely specifically, and obviously so adored, so envied. And on Tilki, the word alley of the Russian political route demonstrates the preparation for certain guilt on the European continent. To the fact that 4 Russians may be counselors since receiving the states will not protect Europe, their bulk types and praise plans, even before the escalation of the situation on the European continent, and are ready to hire not up to the latest intelligence crocs on the topic of the gentry. About the situation with the drone and about the polished downwind in the open, we have already talked to you to get. And today, dozens of Russian unmanned aerial vehicles are sent to the workshop from the direct of a neighboring country. However, the workshop of drones was on the Ukrainian missile defense system for wind defense, and the proof of a split-off missile defense system for the windy defense of Ukraine and Poland over the Zahid regions of our state, and the Shidny voivodeship of Poland. It is so important, of course, that the Russian aggression is directly directed at the big European Ukrainians. On a skin day, we feel the lead about the appearance of drones in the windy expanse of Denmark. Today it has become so well known that those unmanned vehicles were over the temple facilities of Denmark and European powers. And this rank was the torment about those scrolls in Zagoli. Those unmanned vehicles are being launched, and every rank of European Ukraine will be ready not to get them by streaming everywhere. The tables of the Kilko bucket of European Ukrainians are already notifying about me. And obviously Tilky. And that's right, Russia is not so springy. I'm just at Denmark's Copenhagen for the European Union summit. It is in Putin's interests that European leaders arrive at the oyster drunk, and you are not widows. And the withdrawal of its policy of Ukraine. At that moment, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, laying down on Europe to see the Ukraine before the Russian-Ukrainian war and on the respected one, can produce up to those territories that are occupied by a non-Western Russian horde. Well, from the point of view, it is extremely logical to hire Europeans, and when hiring, I will not accept them on the imperious defense instead of helping our Ukraine at the support of Russian aggression. Tesh may be a private plan of the Ukrainian surrender about Yakub Marietta. Putin and Yakuvan overestimating the head political value of their presidency when hiring a nabe. It is possible to be such a rank, and in drones at Windy, just European Ukrainians will declare that whether such Russian ones will fly at Windy, neighboring powers will still characterize their appearance in NATO. Yak washing navigation. And not yak with the knowledge of the provocation of the Russian political and viscose Russian temples of the naval forces, will be on the positions of the European Hromadians who were members of NATO before Ukraine are still the very fact of their stay. And there are also Russian propaganda diversions and European Ukrainians about what is to blame for the Russian Federation. So it is with the skin new day of Russian-Ukrainian guilt, which is absolutely logical. The aggressor cannot still his winamaka, those who are making their plans to him. Daikuyu. Finish on the topic of the channel, subscribe to it, subscribe to my social channels in Patreon. This helps to develop these resources, the sponsorship function of YouTube itself.